everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. Got my normal guys with me. We got Thursday night football tonight, and of course, Pags is all painted up.
Let's go. Hey, listen, I was going to go down and start the tailgate, but they don't even open the lots until 1:20. So there's no sense in racing down there. I'd get down there just as they open up the lots, even if I did the show from home.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So
no point in standing at the fence waiting to get in.
Yeah, there are already people doing that.
Oh, of course.
In a big way. So I can imagine it's going to be a fun night tonight. This is going to be a really good game to watch, especially for a Thursday night.
That's my thought on it. Is we finally have a Thursday night game that isn't terrible. So I'm excited about it. We got two teams that are actually playing well. They're going to go against each other. Your team is winning in spite of your head coach. I mean, I feel like this is going to be one of those battles that is actually entertaining on a Thursday, which is weird.
Exactly. And then on top of that, like it's when you think about this game, and I think about what happened just 4 days ago and how the Commanders had a tough game against the Steelers. And that went down to the very last minute until they jumped off sides, for that first down. And then we rested all our starters in the fourth quarter, because there was no need for us to continue to play. So if there was ever a Thursday game that was going to work out in our benefit, in the Eagles' benefit, it's this Thursday. Obviously it's going to be an interesting time. But Washington is playing really well. It doesn't mean just because they had a harder game last week that they are going to be less tired or what have you. I expect this to be a really, really good game.
Well, I think Washington's going to come in like super motivated because if you kind of go back to last season, it was when Washington beat Philadelphia that kind of started that end of the year slide for Philadelphia. So I think Washington and Philadelphia are going to both come in motivated.
We swept Washington last year.
Was it the year before?
No.
Who beat Philadelphia to start the slide last year?
The 49ers.
Was it 49ers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was also the third game in 10 days.
Okay.
That guy is like, they were red jerseys.
Yeah, I thought it was Washington. But either way, I think Washington is going to come in motivated just because this is one of those games where now that Washington is back in second place, if you lose this game, you're not technically 2 games back. You are 3 games back because Philadelphia will now have the tiebreaker on you versus if Washington wins this game, you're tied with the wins, you're tied with the losses, and you have the tiebreaker. This is more of one of those games where if you want to win that division, you kind of have to win this game over Philadelphia. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in a pretty big uphill climb then the rest of the way if you can't catch them.
So I think it was if the Eagles win this game, there's an 81 or 82% chance of us winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose this game, I think Washington has a 63% chance of winning the division. But it's definitely the Eagles have the better shot even in a loss here.
Yeah.
Well, and I never count the head-to-head tiebreaker until you've played each other twice anyway, because it doesn't matter. Like, just because you technically have that half a game really doesn't make any difference because you're going to play them again. So until you play them the second time, I don't put a lot of thought into it.
Not only are we going to play them again, but, so one way this Thursday night works out for us. The second game where they are at home are also coming off of a bye.
Yeah.
So, we play. That's going to be a bigger, I think, pain in the ass for us.
No question. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So either that or they have a week. There'll be a week played, but right off of the bye. I thought we played them in week 15, but it might be. Yeah, because I think we do play them in week 15, which is right before Christmas. Right before Christmas.
Yeah, December 22nd.
Right. And then because ultimately, and they have their bye in week 14.
Oh, man, you get to close out the year easy.
With the Cowboys and the Giants?
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
You got 2 trash games to finish.
And that's a possible flex game too for Week 16 at this point if Washington and Philly continue to play well, because the Sunday night game right now for that week is Tampa Bay and Dallas.
Yeah, as far as the date's concerned, it still says to be determined.
Yeah, so that could easily be one of the flex games if both teams.
And if that, because that game would decide the East, that game could very well decide the East, or make it so that whoever won that game has it. Like if everybody holds serve after this game, the Eagles could be, that would be the game that would clinch the East, or make it so that they are tied and everybody, Washington's got to finish out with wins to win it, and
Now he's watching on his couch. This is how he watches every game.
Yes, now every game day. Yes, I am going today. Not only am I going today, but it's going to be Military Appreciation Day, and being a Navy guy, I am going out there and I'm holding the flag today for the first time. I'm going to do the flag ceremony on the field, holding that big 2-ton flag. That flag weighs 2 tons.
I mean, that's why you need 500 people holding the thing.
That's exactly correct. That is exactly correct. You're only carrying about 25 pounds of it, but
yeah, like this is probably going to be one of the better Thursday night games, I think, of the year. Like, I mean, last Thursday's game with Cincinnati and Baltimore, I think, has taken the cake so far. When you just kind of look at how both offenses played, you look at how that game ended. I don't think this one is going to be nearly as high scoring as that, but I could see a similar situation where this game's going to come down to like the final 15, 20 seconds, where it might be a field goal that wins the game, or it might be a turnover, or just something that determines the winner.
I think it's going to be a little bit more like, I think that they could come down and try to score a touchdown to tie it, is how I think this is going to end. Like that, we're going to have it pretty handily. However, they're going to have an opportunity to do it, and then they throw an interception kind of like on the 20-yard line or something like that.
Yeah.
Like to end the game. But I think the Eagles are going to have this game in hand, like not like where they're going to be able to rest their starters. There's not going to be a game like that, but it's going to be like that. We are going to win this game, not necessarily going away, but like by a touchdown. I don't think it's ever going to be in question. But,
I think
I've watched other games against Washington where they.
I think it's a tighter game than that. I think you guys win, but I think it's a tighter game than that. This seems more like a field goal kind of game here.
I think that what makes Washington's defense so good is that they're really good against the pass. Mm-hmm. They're not very good against the run. The problem is that their offense scores points.
Exactly.
So it makes you have to go to the pass to try to catch up, which is what most teams have done. You saw Pittsburgh, who had a pretty good defense, stick with running the ball all game long, and it was troublesome for Washington. Now, those guys had a really tough day, including going off sides to lose the game.
Yep.
On fourth down. And ultimately, I think that is going to show up again. Those guys are going to be a little bit more tired. So look in the third and fourth quarter, things to start to unravel for them a little bit. Like where you're going to start to see Barkley breaking off carries of like 12, 15 yards, things like that. Because he's going to, once he gets into open space, you could watch something crazy happen, like him hurdle somebody backwards.
Yeah, well, no question. And it's not like your offense forgets to use him like the Ravens do. So, I mean, he's going to be involved all day. I mean, it'll be a thing. But, at the same time, Washington was right there against the Steelers defense, which is in a lot of categories number 2, right? Like they're second in points allowed.
And they were actually up 24-14 at one point on the Steelers defense too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to score points for sure.
Right. So, yeah, Chris, I know his whole family's in town. I bought their tickets for them.
Nice.
Yeah, so I took care of the Ertz tickets. Wow. Yeah, I took care of it. So Mrs. Ertz is going to be watching from the stands.
So I don't think either one of these are pretenders.
Exactly. I think both these teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think either one of these are, contender pretender list. Like these are both contenders. So, which is also why I think this is a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Both these teams are, top-notch teams this year. So it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be fun to watch, especially because I don't have a horse in the race. So it doesn't matter who wins. I did pick the Eagles, so I'd appreciate it if they won.
I'll do my best.
That's right. You get out there. I mean, you're going to be on the field.
I will be on the field.
Oh, man.
But
definitely looking forward to this one, though.
And these teams are pretty well evenly matched. I was looking up some of the the statistics so far this year for both these teams. The problem, you got to go through all of these sites. I can't stand the ads on these sites.
So I have it up just because I'm doing a pick'em show right after this. So I mean, if you're looking at offense versus defense, this is where this matchup is actually pretty amazing. Total yards for the Washington offense, they're fourth. On defense, the Eagles are second, right? Rushing yards, Washington is fourth on offense against the fifth-ranked defense of the Eagles. Points for, Washington's third. Points against, Eagles are fifth, right? Like it's about as even a matchup as you can get. Where the disparity is when it comes to passing. Washington's only 14th, right? It's middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have the third-ranked pass defense, which is pretty impressive. But at the same time, you have the 19th ranked passing offense against their 5th ranked passing defense. So, I mean, they can stop that. Where you guys have a ton of opportunity is the running game, right? You're second in the league, and they're 28th. So they're not good against the run, which is where I think you guys ultimately get the win, is because Barkley's going to go beat them up.
Well, and that's the reason why we're 19th against the in the passing game, because we run it all the time. Which is what we're supposed to do.
Probably one of the biggest things is your team is healthy. You have your 4 guys that are on IR, but outside of that, everybody's playing. Now, I know Brown isn't 100%, but he's going to be out there. You go over to the Commanders, they have 12 guys on their injury report. I think that's going to be one of the biggest differences there, is you guys are amazingly healthy for going into week 11. And they are your average team where they got guys that are going to miss this game, or at least are going to be, in limited capacity. Because there's quite a few of those guys that are, they're questionable. So they'll probably play, but are they going to be 100%? No. So where you guys match up is mostly the same, but where you're different, you guys are better.
I agree. Well, and I think this is going to be,
it's a divisional
probably
game.
The rookie's biggest test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be learning now exactly. This is a divisional game. I mean, he's played against the Giants. Did they play the Cowboys yet? I don't even think they have.
I don't think they have it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they may have played the Giants twice already. I'm not even sure of that either. Let me see. I can actually see it.
Played the
No, they played the Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys. So yeah, they've already played the Giants twice.
They have to play the Cowboys twice.
Yeah, they play the Cowboys next, and then last week of the season. And then they play us in week 16, not week 15.
Yep.
So their bye week is then they play the Saints at the Saints, and then they come to the Eagles. So they do have the beat up week going down there first. But I mean, you think about the games that they lost. One was against the Ravens in week 6, where they actually made it a game. They're beating the teams they're supposed to. They had a tougher game against Chicago than they needed to. I think that we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think he's doing any backflips into the end zone. So I think we're good on that. I wouldn't take that prop bet if it was available.
Yeah, so total yards being 6th, 4th.
Is the photo rocket? No.
They're 4th in rushing and 3rd in points.
Yeah.
5th in passing yards. It's funny. Defense. 5th against the pass, 28th against the run. They give up 142 yards a game rushing.
Yeah. No, and that's the biggest discrepancy right there. Like, that's where you guys are going to beat them up all night. I mean, not that you haven't been beating everybody up that way anyway, but their defense just isn't good against the run, and you guys have an elite running attack.
Yeah.
Also, that's a big one. That's a big one if I'm reading that properly. That they are very bad on getting off the field.
Oh, on third down?
Their third down defense is not good at all.
Yeah, they're 5th on third down, like on offense. Staying on the field. They're at 44.7%. That's pretty good.
That is really good.
On third down conversions. They give up 42%.
That is not great.
No.
Yeah. No, it's anytime you can be close to 50% for, it's amazing. And if it's against, it's like, oh man, you guys got to figure something out.
Yeah, so it's like, because we're middle of the pack. We give up on third down 35.8%.
Okay.
So I mean that's 13th in the league.
Yeah. No, I mean that works.
And we make 39.2%, which is middle of the pack, 15th in the league. We give up much less points. We're at 18 points a game.
Yeah.
Yep, Vic, I'll be down there shortly. I'm leaving right after this podcast. Thanks, Slip. Good meeting you. So, but yeah, I think this is going to come down to, I think the rookie is going to, there's going to be like a rookie mistake or two here. This is the first game he has in this series. He's going to learn about the Eagles here a little bit. He's going to learn what it's like to be in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
I think that tonight's going to be an electric game. This is going to have a little bit of a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think, listen, and not to say that he's going to fail miserably here. He might, but I don't think that that's what he does here. I think that he actually plays pretty well. I just don't think, I think that he will make some rookie mistakes here under the pressure.
Yeah, it'll be some takeaways. Like that'll probably be the deciding factor, right? Is he'll throw an ill-timed pick. May not even equal points, but it'll probably keep points from going up.
Yeah. But then, in his defense, though, too, he came from a conference where most of the conference games are like playoff environments. Because realistically, when you look at SEC football games and how the crowds are for SEC football games, they're a lot worse than NFL games. Like NFL crowds are very relaxed compared to what you see in the SEC for college football. So this actually might be one of those environments that he thrives off of since he's so used to it.
Well, the last time that he had a college environment like that went a little crazy, there was a big viral video of Jalen Carter sacking his ass. So
Jalen Carter sacked a lot of people in college.
Yeah,
exactly.
So. Everybody, actually.
But I'm just saying, I don't think the environment is going to be too big for him because he's one of those quarterbacks that was used to 90, 95, 100,000 people every single Saturday screaming at the top of their lungs, just partying in the stands every weekend versus the NFL. You don't get college football crowds in the NFL. And that's like I know a lot of people like watching NFL more than college football just because it's faster paced. It's a better product than what college football is.
It's mostly that. It's because it's a better product.
But when it comes to the actual atmosphere and environment, college football is 100 times better than an NFL environment. Like the crowds at college football are so much better. I think watching college football in person is actually better than watching NFL in person because of the atmosphere. When it comes to watching on TV, I would prefer watching the NFL on TV. But just going to the game itself, just the college environment for a lot of the college teams, especially in the SEC, it's just second to none.
I hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I like going to games. So, I mean, like I can enjoy a high school game.
Well, yeah, I do too. But I'm just saying, like, for a lot of rookie quarterbacks, like Pegs was saying, like, they always say, like, that first divisional test or, like, that first playoff feel type of NFL game for a rookie is usually like that eye-open experience where it's like, okay, like I'm in the NFL now. But when it comes to like a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of players like out of the SEC or the Big Ten, like the conferences that have like the big stadiums, the conferences that have like those big matchups with Ohio State like week in and week out, a lot of those guys aren't really affected by this type of environment because they're so used to playing in it. It's just a different level of magnitude being at the NFL compared to college.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's communication issues because they're rookies, right? It's not that the moment's too big. Like that's not what you're talking about. But the atmosphere is different. Like it's going to be louder. It's going to be harder to communicate with your guys. And then at the end of the day, you're going against, even if you're going against an Ohio State, that team has like 5 guys that might end up in the league. This has 53 All-Americans on it. Like they're, you know, if you can't communicate, you're going to get blown up. Not to say that by week 11, you haven't had your welcome to the NFL moment, because you definitely, you know, that happens. But this will have some mistakes in it. I mean, no question.
I agree. You know, and truth of the matter is that, I mean, they were talking about that yesterday with Caleb Williams, that and when I say that the coaching staff is teaching him how to play scared. And where if you look at the first year of Peyton Manning, that he threw 24 touchdowns and 28 interceptions, that is his game, that will evolve over time. You know, that, hey, it's he's obviously in his first year, you want him slinging the rock. You want him to get used to fitting it into tight windows. If you think that if you make him play scared, those tight windows are too tight all the time. You got to throw the football through the circle, you know, far away in the, you know, and you're always hitting the wall. You know, you're not making that, or you're giving them up in one way, shape, or form. But you need to make those mistakes to learn from them. You can't play scared. And that's kind of what they're doing with Caleb Williams right now. And it made me think about something.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So I had something more to add to that after yesterday.
And not only that, I there's a thought process that I got hit with after the show yesterday. Any thoughts on possibly Chicago trading Caleb Williams to the Raiders for one of the first picks in the draft?
No, they will not do that.
No way.
Just because if they won't do that, because this was Ryan Poles' pick. He's going to live and die by this pick. It either pans out for him and the Bears and they're set at quarterback for the next decade, or it's just going to be a rinse, wash, and repeat like it's been with Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. But when Ryan Poles came in to take over the Bears, he came in after they already drafted Justin Fields. So his first 2 years in Chicago, he never had a chance to really draft his guy. This is Ryan Poles' guy. They're not going to trade him after 1 year of this shit show that's been going on in Chicago. Realistically, 3 years of a shit show because Matt Eberflus has sucked.
Even for Shador?
Nope. Even for Shador, they would not do it.
Okay.
The reason why
where he pans out, then you definitely get fired.
The reason why a lot of the Bears veterans now want him benched, and it actually has nothing to do with his injuries or his injury concerns. It has to do with a comment that he made in the preseason that is completely backfiring on him right now, and that's why a lot of the veterans are kind of pushing for Bagent to start. When the Bears took their punter in the 4th round, Torrey Taylor, Caleb Williams called Tory Taylor on a Facebook call and basically said, "We have the offense in place where you're not going to have to punt very much this year." Here we are 9 games into the season, and Tory Taylor has 154 more yards punting than Caleb Williams does passing.
Yep.
So now a lot of the Bears veterans are kind of like the way that I kind of saw him last year, how he ran his mouth a lot, and his mouth kind of got him in trouble in college, especially with some of the things that his dad said. And now a lot of the Bears veterans are kind of noticing that he's got too big of a head for his body right now. And they just kind of want him to have like that rookie reality check where it's, you're in the NFL now. If you don't perform, it's not like in college. If you don't perform, you keep your job in college. Like if you're Caleb Williams and you have 4 rough games in a row at USC, you're not losing your job. They kind of want him to have that reality check where if you have 4 rough games in the NFL, you might not be starting the next week.
Yeah.
Got ya.
I mean, I liked Greeny's take of it since we're talking about Chicago.
Organizational catastrophe with a capital C. All right, the city of Chicago, the Bears, they have that big C on their helmet. They should change it to catastrophe. The degree to which they have mishandled this situation is now embarrassing. You decide Shane Waldron is the guy. You know, when the season ends last year, we have the most important thing we are going to do in the foreseeable future is develop this quarterback. Coordinators who had a lot of options were interested in going there because they all knew we're 1 year away from getting fired anyway. So the bottom line of it is they go out and they hire Shane Waldron. At the time they did, everyone said, really? Seems like a very unusual decision, and now it's a disaster. This is another step in what is an organization that cannot get out of its own way.
Listen, and if Greeny's saying that, because I think Greeny is about the least sports guy in sports media.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he's burying him. I'm like, okay. I mean, he's not wrong, though. Like, they do everything they can to kneecap themselves. Like, it is crazy.
What I found funny is kind of what else they said yesterday, too, is everyone said that when they were interviewing offensive coordinators that Cliff Kingsbury should have had a blank check waiting for him when he walked into the facility to interview that day, just because he worked with Caleb Williams at USC. Like, it was a perfect match where Caleb Williams would be in the same exact system that he was in college, just modified a little bit. As the report that came out yesterday, if Matt Eberflus leaves, guess who the Bears' top target for head coaches?
Cliff Kingsbury?
Yep. So why the hell did you let him leave the building in the first place if now he's going to be your target for a head coach?
Because
you literally let your rookie quarterback's first year go to waste because you didn't want to give him the offensive coordinator that he had in college, but now you're saying he's your top choice for head coach because apparently this coaching regime hasn't worked.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears just as an organization never seem to know what they're doing. I mean, again, it's entertaining, but
it's hilarious, hilariously entertaining and pathetically stupid for how they handle these situations. But it's like you could have brought in Cliff Kingsbury this year, and if the Bears continue to struggle the way they are, you could have fired Eberflus and just literally promoted Kingsbury to your interim head coach for the rest of this season, and then just name him head coach next year. Now it's like you don't even have him in your organization right now. You wasted your entire first year of Caleb Williams because the offensive coordinator you brought in was complete garbage. Now you might go and get Cliff Kingsbury anyways. It would have just made more sense to put him in that system now, keep Caleb Williams in the same system, and just build around that system.
And would you want to be Cliff Kingsbury and take that job now too?
I would.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wouldn't want to take that job.
I kind of would because he'd be going into a situation where the quarterback that he has knows his system. It wouldn't be going to a team where you kind of got it. Like Jaden Daniels did not know Cliff Kingsbury's system, so Kingsbury had to kind of teach Jaden Daniels that system. Same thing with the Kyler Murray when he went to Arizona. Caleb Williams has been in the Cliff Kingsbury system. It would just be modified a little bit, but it would be a lot less teaching going into it. It'd be like, this is what we did to be in college to be successful. We can't do the same things that we did in college, but we can still do some of the same things to be successful.
I mean, but why would you move? Like, you're in a position where you get a few more pieces and you can actually do something. Why would you go to a dumpster fire?
I mean, it's still being a head coach. So like every coach wants to be a head coach for the most part.
Sure.
And I think
want to pick your spots. Like, you want to go somewhere where you can be successful right away. I don't know that that's this particular location.
I don't know. I agree there, but at the same time, I think they could be successful quicker if he went there, just because he would have that familiarity with his quarterback. It'd be easier for him to turn that offensive
Quicker than what he's doing, because you know what definitely helps you get a job? Winning a ring.
Well, I know that, but he's not the head coach in Washington right now. Like,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
But if he took a head coaching job
and you win a ring,
yeah. But
everyone's looking at all of a sudden you have more options.
That's what I'm saying though. But if his options are the Giants, the Jets, we'll say the Panthers, in case, if just for example, like if his and the Raiders, if those were his 4 options, he goes to one of those teams that might take him 3 years to rebuild that team to get him to a playoff contender. If he goes to Chicago, he could essentially rebuild that team in 1 year just because their defense is still good enough to be a championship caliber defense. They still have all those pieces on defense locked up for the next 3-4 years. Bring him in.
You're in a division kind of like being, the Raiders. It's like, okay, I mean, you got to be, you don't get to be an average team because it just happens that your division is really good. So if you go to take over the Bears, you have a really tough division. So I don't know if you go to an organization that is routinely a problem in a division where your division rivals are just going to beat you up.
Yeah.
Like most of that doesn't make sense. Like you got to, if you're going to go somewhere, you want to go somewhere where you also have a shot to do something within the division. Because I mean, there's only 32 of these positions, and if you don't win right away, the NFL is that, what have you done for me lately? And if you come in and you are just terrible the first couple of years, organizations aren't that patient anymore.
Exactly.
Although historically, maybe they're not anymore.
Right.
But the Panthers' job, to your point, may very well be open because I feel like we've already had more games with one coach than we've had the last 3 years.
Right.
So
hey,
it feels like time to fire the guy.
Speaking of the NFC North, though, it looks like that the Dallas Cowboys are very interested in taking Brian Flores as their next head coach.
Okay.
Really?
Which doesn't make sense to me because if Jerry Jones wants a yes man for his organization, Brian Flores is not going to be a yes man to Jerry Jones.
Again, I'll bring the marshmallows and the graham crackers. Let's roast these things. It's going to be fun to watch.
That would be a ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
Exactly. Let's go.
Exactly. Fun. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
I mean, obviously, we'd end up with a lot of Cowboys segments, but you know what? It'd be entertaining.
Very entertaining.
So, anyways, real quick. So, before you go do your commercial, I got to do mine really fast. So, you're going to get a double commercial here real quick. So, what's up, everybody? Philly sports guy here for Tick Pick. Did you know for this Eagles game tonight that you could get in between the 20s for about $300 only if you use the code PSG25 to get the $25 off? Get in between the 20s. Down in the lower bowl for under $300. Use the code PSG25 and Tick Pick, there's no hidden fees. Go Birds with Tick Pick. Yeah.
Joe, we're not even picking on your team. They're picking on themselves. We're just reporting. And that is brought to you by BetUS. 125% of your first 3 deposits using the QR code on the screen. There's also a 10% bet guarantee in case you happen to lose. There are restrictions that apply, but you can bet right alongside us here at Coast to Coast, right there on the screen. And of course, if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you haven't had your duct cleaning done, especially as we get into the holidays, if you have family members with allergies, anything like that, dust and debris in your ductwork can make it an interesting breathing situation within your house. And of course, like I've said before, there are more than 15,000 dryer fires every year here in the U.S. If you haven't done it in the last year or can't remember the last time it's been done, it's probably that time. You can, here in the Northwest, you can use Archer Duct Cleaning wherever you are in the U.S. It is a good idea to get it done, even if it's not with us. All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know all about that.
Yep. Yeah, it's dirty work, man. It is dirty work. You are a mess after doing a dryer for sure.
Trust me, I have. Imagine doing a chimney.
No. Chimneys are 0.5. I just did mine, in fact. And the whole, like, even before I started doing, I'm like, man, this is going to suck. Because there's just no good way to not get dirty doing it.
Right.
Man.
Finally got this.
So we did have Mike Williams trolling Rodgers a little bit this last week. Now that he finally got out from there. And what's that?
It's a good man.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. He scores that touchdown for the Steelers, and he hashtags Redline, which is a direct dig at his former teammate. And this was Rodgers' response to it. It was pretty funny, just because he took it in stride.
Appeared to be trolling you on his you saw it, I'm sure.
I didn't see it.
A picture of his touchdown last week in Pittsburgh, and he hashtagged it Redline. So, what appeared to be trolling you there, but what's your reaction?
I don't have it. I like Mike. I'm happy for Mike.
The hell you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was kind of funny though. He goes, "What's your reaction?" He started laughing because I don't have one. He's like, "Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good friggin' troll."
Exactly.
He kind of gave that. He gave him the thumbs up there. I like Mike. What else is he going to say? It's like, yeah, he got me there.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's why I got the clip. I was like, that was kind of funny. He took it in stride, because there has been quite a few times where he gets a little bit butthurt about, everything. So it was good to see, something where it was at least lighthearted, right?
Exactly. So nice. That's. Hey, listen, you better start to get the joke there, Aaron. You know what I mean? It's like if you ain't going to win the games, you might as well be lighthearted.
If you're gonna kick your entire team out because you make the bad throw, not them, then you better be able to take the dig that's coming your way.
That was the thing that was wild, right? Like he calls him out in that game, and he's like, "Oh, he's supposed to be on the red line, whatever," right? Completely neglecting the fact that the week before he made like 3 huge catches for him. And then, calls him out in that one, kind of forces him out of town. It's just like, man, dude was a good third option for you. Like, I don't really know why, especially after Lazard goes down, right? You have Garrett Wilson, you have Adams, like that. He's that third option that has pretty good hands. You guys don't connect on one that you call him out on, then you force him out of town. Seemed crazy.
So
but yeah, you don't see him calling Devontae Adams out for dropping a touchdown pass last week.
Or all the ones that he shoved to Garrett Wilson that guy had like 8 drop passes already.
Yeah.
So I have been I'm actually switching it up a little bit here.
Yep. Sure.
I posted a poll yesterday. I don't ever post polls. I'm not a poll guy. However, I might start doing it now because I was actually impressed by how many people responded to the poll. Poll question,
which platform did you put it on?
On Instagram.
Okay.
I probably could have put it on Twitter too. I just didn't because, like I said, it was my first time doing a poll. I didn't know what to expect. So, but here was the post. Question for all Sixers season ticket holders. How apt are you to sell your tickets on the back end of back-to-back games if you know that Embiid is not going to play in that game? Yes or no? It was a yes or no question.
Yeah. It's what I hate about load management. It's actually a question I got asked on another show a couple days ago. They're like, what's one of the things you hate about the NBA? Because they know because they took our Sonics, I have some hate for the NBA anyway. They're like, what's the thing that you hate the most about it? And for me, it's load management, right? And it's because I feel bad for the people that may only be able to afford the one game that year, right? Mm-hmm. And then the players they're going to see, all of a sudden the day before, they're like, oh yeah, now they're a clean scratch. It's like, well, they don't get another shot at it. Right? they're going to watch their team with their bench players get smoked because it's a scheduled loss for them because they decided they wanted to sit their players or their players wanted to sit or whatever. Yeah, however that transpires. But it may be their only shot to go watch this game.
And that's why I respected Kobe Bryant so much, because he thought the same way you're thinking. Because even at the end of Kobe's career, like when his injuries started to pile up and like his shoulder, his Achilles and all that,
Sure.
Kobe Bryant said, if I'm not on crutches, if I'm not in a boot, I'm playing, because people use their hard-earned money to come watch me play, that this might be the only chance they get to see me play.
Yeah, well, and it's not for the people that are sitting on the floor. Like, I don't care. They can go to whatever game they want. Yeah. It's for the people in like row I 35 in the rafters that you're just like, yeah, like this is probably their shot to see their team.
It's for the 8-year-old that got a pair of Lakers tickets for Christmas like a year ago because his parents were saving up to get like Laker tickets for him, and all of a sudden like, oh, we're going to this game on Christmas Day because the Lakers are at home, and the kid's all excited to see LeBron James play, and then LeBron's like, no, I played the 24th. I'm not playing today.
Yeah. Yeah, especially on the ones where they're not even in the stands, right? Like, they didn't even travel to the game.
Yeah.
You're just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. It's something that I really don't like that the NBA has transitioned into over the last decade. And it's frustrating. And again, obviously I'm biased. I have some negativity towards the NBA anyway, but it's something that I would think would be true in any sport, right? Like, I wouldn't want to go to an NFL game where my favorite players are just clean scratches for the day. They're just like, oh yeah, we're just going to go ahead and take the L here. And, cause it's not like you're going to win that game either. Right. So it's not only your favorite players aren't playing, but you're also just conceding that your team's probably going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
It may not even be particularly close.
Right.
I mean, like for tonight, say you had Hurts was going to be a clean scratch and Barkley was going to be a clean scratch because they're like, we want to stay healthy and whatever. And so you just have your third stringers out there. It's not a game I want to go to.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
The stars aren't in it, but because you guys are going to get beat up.
That's what I'm wondering. Once we get towards December and you have, I think it's Pittsburgh and Houston to have like those 3 games in 10 days. Are we going to see some load management from those teams? Because you have to think that the pounding that some of those players take, they're not going to be able to play 3 games in 10 days. They're going to have to be like, no, we need to sit this Wednesday game out because we're physically just beaten up from Sunday.
I mean, I don't know. Teams do it during the normal course of the season. So, I mean, like,
yeah, but usually you have that 10-day break then after you play a Thursday game, though. Like, usually they'll have a Sunday game, and then if you play Thursday, but then you have like a 10-day break in between. There's teams that are going to go Sunday, Wednesday. Like, there's not going to have that 10-day break in between. Yeah.
No, I mean, it is what it is. Now, it's also why I never buy tickets to week 18 or week 17 in the past, is if your team is in a spot where they may rest some guys for the playoffs, I'm not going to that game. I'm not going to go watch a depleted team give a half effort because they don't care.
You're not going to watch Sam Howell go out there?
No, I'm good. I watched him I watched him in preseason and I watched him in practice. Like I've seen what I need to see.
And there you have it. But yeah. I don't know. I kind of think that this is going to start to become a really big deal. And how are they going to really manage this? I mean, this is something that Pop did all the time. Yep. You know what I mean? That was part of how Popovich won all of his titles. So this has been going on forever. Just all of a sudden now the NBA is going to start to target specifically the Sixers. But there's going to be more teams involved, I got to imagine, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Yesterday, they were talking about, how amazing it is that the Cavaliers are 12-0. It's like, we're 12 games in. Like, calm down, people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, being 12-0 is actually pretty good.
They're only the sixth. Yeah, they're the sixth team the sixth team in NBA history that started 13-0. Like they've been impressive.
No, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that it's a long season. Yeah, it's an impressive start, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it puts you in a good jump for the in-season tournament, right? Like you can build on that, I guess.
Well, they have a 7.5 game lead in their own division right now. So like right now they've built such a big lead in that division where they can play 500 basketball the rest of the way, and then everybody else behind them's got to play like 660.
Well,
make up the 7 games.
I mean, there's a lot of season left. Let's
no, but I'm just saying, but you got to remember though, like if you're a 7.5 game lead, and that lead's only going to get bigger when you look at some of the teams that the Pistons, the Pacers, and the Bulls got to play yet, and the Bucks just can't. The Bucks can't figure their own shit out right now. Like that franchise is a mess right now.
The Mariners had an 8-game lead and they didn't make the playoffs. Like let's talk halfway through the season.
Yeah, but basketball's a lot different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that, of course, that Cleveland's not going to go 82-0.
No.
You know what I mean? So that's. But what he is saying though is that the Sixers at 2-8 are still right in the middle of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really what he's saying. More than that, more than them being so far ahead of everybody, because obviously they're going to come back to the earth a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. But plus you don't want to be peaking now.
No.
Well, that's my point. It's like that's great. You're coming out of the gate like gangbusters. Sure, that's awesome. But there's a lot of basketball left. And if this is the high point of your season, that doesn't say good things for the way it's going to end.
Exactly. But I mean, I do think they got one of the better head coaching hires of the offseason, though, which not a lot of people talk about. Because they brought in Kenny Atkinson, and Kenny Atkinson was he did a good job at Brooklyn. He's kind of what set Brooklyn up for that little short run of success they had before they brought in Durant and tried to make all the super teams. Like he rebuilt the Brooklyn Nets in 2 years, and he was a very coveted head coach the last couple of years, but he didn't want to leave the job that he had in Golden State as the assistant to Steve Kerr, and who can blame him? He was sitting on Steve Kerr's staff for a couple of years and learning more than what he learned, and now he pretty much had whatever job he wanted to pick from this offseason, took the Cavaliers job, and look at the start he's gotten off to.
I mean, you could look at last year. The Eagles went 10-1 and fizzled out pretty badly. There's things. Every sport is littered with teams that peaked too quickly.
Yep.
That's kind of what happens. You want to be able to play your best game at the end of the season, typically the last game of the season, and then they give you a trophy. That's when you really want to play your best game.
Certainly.
That is the
goal.
That is the goal. I don't know what that is for football.
Well, I mean that's a picture, but I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's showing some type of bikini.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't know. Okay, got some weird stuff.
Only on Twitch.
Right? Never know what's going to come from there. Here we go.
You can't even delete him either. You just got to cancel Twitch, off of your feed.
Yeah.
I know all about it. But good work on that guy.
Yeah, right? Like that's some time.
Russian interference.
At least it's not visible anywhere else. So, I mean, there is that.
Exactly.
So, fortunately, nobody on any other platform can see the stupid crap that just came through.
Well, I'm getting all excited, though, myself, just because, I've never seen that many dots on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Never a dull moment. But that being said, guys, I'm going to jump out of here a touch early because it's time for me to get ready to go. I got to get hopping here. I want to just get my stuff together because we're supposed to leave at 1:00. So I'm gonna go off by saying enjoy the game today, but definitely go Birds. We're gonna take this win, and I'll be able to talk about it tomorrow with a big smile on my face.
That's right. That's right. And of course, in my pick'em, I took the Birds, so I'm with you. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
I need this point tonight.
All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Take it easy, brother. Oh man, good stuff. Yeah. No, that is definitely my biggest frustration with the way that the NBA has become. Right now, obviously, I don't like the fact that there's no defense and stuff like that, but that's not unique to the NBA.
No.
Tons of nobody likes to play defense anymore, but
Exactly.
it is the load management thing makes me mad and always has. Like, I don't mind it so much if it's here or there coming off of, like if you have a guy that's trying to recover from something, especially like if it's a hamstring or something like that, where those can be lingering injuries and you're trying to make it so that it doesn't move forward in the season. I have no problem with that. But when you are a clean scratch, like, what are we doing? I mean, you're making, $50+ million a year, probably.
About that, brother.
You can't figure out how to get on the court and play for 4 quarters. Like, what are we doing?
We don't even play 4 quarters anyways. They don't even play 3 half the time. They play like 34 minutes.
No, exactly. I mean, that's also a newer thing. Like, even when you are playing, you're not playing. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting all this money. You can't figure out how to do your job. I mean, you're talking about people that are working a ton of hours to be able to afford to go to this game.
Exactly.
In jobs that, are harder.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Not a fan. Cowboys fans taking the Eagles. Here we go. I know that hurt you to type out there, Joe. That being said, that pretty much does get us to the end of the day anyway. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you see the signature card that is sitting on my my desk right here, we did finally pass that 500 subscriber mark. And if you are part of the subscribers of mine, I'm going to pull from that subscriber list. So make sure if you are subscribed that I can see it. Some people subscribe anonymously, which is weird, but or you're subscribing to some weird stuff. So, hey, kudos to you. But if you're subscribed to mine, make sure that it is not blocked. That way, when we randomize and select who it goes to, we will pick from that list, and the Tyler Lockett signature card will be sent out to you. Whether you like Tyler Lockett or not, maybe it makes a good Christmas gift. I don't know. But because we passed that 500 mark, that'll be given away this weekend. So if you haven't subscribed, you still have some time. Other than that, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Enjoy football tonight. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Peace.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports.